Imagine that love is the sun. For some people, even when the sun sets and the world goes dark, they carry a deep, quiet certainty that it will rise again in the morning. The darkness is temporary. The light is permanent. But for you, perhaps, every sunset feels like a final ending. Every moment of darkness, every cloud that covers the sky, brings a cold, primal terror. The fear that this time, the sun might be gone forever. This is the secret, painful world of someone who struggles with emotional permanence. It's the anxiety that floods your system when your partner leaves for a work trip, even after a loving goodbye. It's the spiral of panic that begins when they don't text back for a few hours. It's the devastating feeling during a small argument that the entire history of your love has been erased. In those moments of absence, or of conflict, the love doesn't just feel distant. It feels gone. If this is your reality, you have likely been told that you are needy, insecure, or too sensitive. And you have probably taken those labels and turned them into weapons against yourself. But what you are experiencing is not a character flaw. It is a developmental wound. It is the logical and predictable echo of a past where love itself was not a permanent fixture in your sky. Let's start by giving this a name. In psychology, this is related to a concept called Object Constancy. But we can call it emotional permanence. It is the ability to hold onto the feeling of being loved, trusted, and safe in a relationship, even when the other person is not physically present, or when you are in a state of conflict. It is the deep, internalized knowing that the love is a stable entity, separate from the shifting weather of the present moment. It is the ability to remember the sun, even in the middle of a storm. This is not a skill we are born with. It is a skill that is built, brick by brick, in the earliest moments of our lives. A child develops emotional permanence by having a good enough, consistent caregiver. When the parent leaves the room, the child might cry. But the parent comes back. Again and again and again. Through 1,000 tiny repetitions, the child's brain learns a fundamental truth. Absence is not permanent. People return. When the parent is momentarily angry or frustrated, the child might feel scared. But the parent's underlying love and care remain. The child learns another profound lesson. Conflict is not the end of love. The relationship can hold both my anger and theirs, and still be safe. Through this beautiful repetitive dance of rupture and repair, the child slowly builds a permanent, internal model of love. They build their own sun, inside of their own heart. But what happens if a child's world does not have this consistency? What if the caregiver, the sun, was a flickering, unpredictable light? What if they were physically or emotionally absent for long periods? What if their anger meant the complete and terrifying withdrawal of all warmth and affection? What if their presence was so chaotic that you could never be sure if you would be met with a hug or with rage? That child's brain learns a very different set of lessons. It learns that absence could be permanent. It learns that conflict is the end of love. It learns that love is not a stable sun, but a fleeting and conditional state that can vanish at any moment. That child does not get to build an internal sun. They learn to live in a perpetual state of twilight, constantly scanning the horizon for a light that could disappear without warning. And so you arrive in adulthood with this deep, subconscious wiring. And it shows up in your relationships in painful, predictable ways. It shows up as an intense fear of abandonment. Every moment of disconnection, a missed call, a change in tone, a need for space, is not just a small event. It is interpreted by your nervous system as a catastrophic threat, a reenactment of the original wound. The terror you feel is the terror of that small child, all over again. It shows up as splitting or black and white thinking. The moment a conflict arises, your partner is no longer the loving, supportive person you know. In your mind, they become, temporarily, an all-bad, dangerous, and untrustworthy figure. You cannot hold the both/and reality, that they are a good person who is just temporarily angry. For your system, anger meant the love was gone, so you re-experience that totality. It shows up as a constant need for reassurance. You need the text messages, the I love yous, the constant validation, not because you are needy, but because you are trying to regulate a terrified nervous system. You are using your partner's presence as external proof that the sun is still in the sky, because you haven't yet learned to feel its warmth inside of you. And it can show up in push-pull dynamics. You might push your partner away during a conflict to protect yourself from the abandonment you feel is inevitable, only to then pull them back desperately once you feel the sheer terror of the disconnection you've just created. So how do we begin to heal this wound? How do we learn to build our own internal sun? It is a slow, gentle journey of teaching your inner child that the rules of the past no longer apply to the present. The first step, as always, is to name the pattern with compassion. When you feel that familiar spiral of panic because your partner is distant, pause and say to yourself, "This is not just insecurity. This is my struggle with emotional permanence. This is an echo. This is the feeling of that small, scared child." Naming it takes away the shame and allows you to see it as a wound to be healed, not a flaw to be hated. The second step is to create an external anchor to an internal truth. This is the idea of a transitional object. Find a tangible, physical object that represents the reality of the love you share. It could be a favorite photo of you both, a saved, loving text message you can read, a piece of their clothing you can hold. When your feelings are telling you the lie that the love is gone, this object is your anchor. It is a piece of physical evidence that can help your mind argue with the terror of your nervous system. The third step is to consciously practice holding both and thinking. During a conflict, you can literally say to yourself, out loud if you need to, "My partner is frustrated with me right now, and I know that they still love me. I am feeling scared and disconnected, and I know that our relationship is strong and safe." You are actively training your brain to do something it was never taught to do. You are building the new neural pathway of object constancy. And finally, you must learn to become your own source of reassurance. This is the deepest work. When the fear hits, instead of immediately reaching for your phone to get that hit of external validation, pause. Place a hand on your own heart. Take a deep breath. And speak directly to the terrified part of you. "I know you're scared. I know it feels like we're being abandoned. But I am here. I will not abandon you. I am the permanent one. We are safe inside of me." You are becoming the consistent, loving caregiver that your inner child always needed. Your struggle to believe in love when you are alone is not a sign of your weakness. It is the scar tissue of a past where love was not a certainty. The journey now is about learning to build your own light, your own internal sun, that is so steady and so bright, that you can finally trust the light of others, even when they are temporarily behind the clouds. If this video was helpful for you, please show your support by clicking the like button. To continue this journey of healing, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. And if you know someone who struggles with this quiet fear, please share this video. It might help them understand they are not alone in the dark. Thank you for watching. You are worthy of a love that lasts.